So the armies are your armies are kind of moving through here.
So that
would box them off.
That would prevent us from going forward.
Okay, well, never mind.
It would also prevent them from coming to you, but it would prevent them from...
You can jump on the broom.
What's... I'm sorry, I gotta look this up.
No, you're okay.
I'm trying really hard to not become an 8.
Oh, I see. You're trying to use your spell resource.
300 feet. Swell. I'm gonna use... If I use hallucinatory terrain, is that for just them or is that for everybody?
That is going to take a little while to cast. That's the only downside.
Yes, that takes a while to go.
Well, then I'm gonna do it, man.
So basically, you're just kind of like holding off on the battlefield and just waiting to kind of like screw up a section of the terrain.
It's a 300 feet, 300 foot range. Cause it takes 10 minutes to cast. How long is 10 minutes?
It's 100 rounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the no. I want to do something now.
He's like, I need to act now.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, that's correct. And I believe Asher is on deck.
Okay.
So I didn't have this prepared because my...
Watch your head.
Can I do yeah, can I do insect plague instead then?
Yeah.
I think they definitely would
I'm
have
gonna
done that.
insect plague as much of
The front of that group,
the front of the group as I can.
kind of aiming around here. That's probably where you could reach with it, I think.
This doesn't say... Oh, 20-foot radius.
20-foot radius, which means that wherever you drop it, it affects everything in a 20-foot circle around it.
And also has a range at 300 feet. So
Oh, yes, you could put it anywhere here
Oh,
you want.
I just do.
Right in the center.
If you soften up the dudes in the back, the people in the front lines won't have to worry about being affected by it either, which is nice.
Oh, that's true. If you hit these guys behind, because these are all like the elite soldiers.
Oh. Yeah, I'll hit them then.
You're gonna pick. You can pick like any cluster of 4, basically.
These spicy boys.
This group. It's gonna have to be this group.
Yeah.
Actually, you could center it here, and it would just miss him, but hit these 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of like you just see Fernir kind of from the back, just kind of like hauling up as much dark energy as he can, and like calling out to nature, and then yeah, like you kind of like get this soft sense of serenity, and then you're just like bees, and you just conjure like thousands of bees into existence all around them, and you can see those like heavily armored cult like major foot soldiers just kind of like staring and looking at themselves. The bees start to swarm. They hear this loud buzzing. They barely catch over the sound of the drakhorn. But then they notice and they start stinging and they're slapping at themselves. The insects biting and gnashing. Roll damage for the insect plague.
Oh, it's time for Nick Cage to break another television.
For the 10, and then every turn that they begin their tournament, they will continue to take that damage.
Yes, 10. 7. 9.
That's 16.
2.
18.
And 10.
So, oh shit, yeah.
28.
28.
That was a good insect
That
plague.
whole group takes 28 points of damage. All of them in difficult terrain, they can barely see through it. They're looking around for their allies, they're panicking. The bees are like flying into their mouths and ears, and they're yelling out and paint swiping their weapons everywhere, not even paying attention. This elite group of cult soldiers has sort of weakened. You see the mage in the back, the red wizard just kind of look towards them, and you can see Fernir now gets a good look at him because he turns and he looks directly at Fernir after he casts that spell, and you can see this red wizard eyeing you angrily, aggressively.
Okay, that's fine. I have anal fissure.
And
I
don't know actually.
Yeah,
Hold on.
anal fissure?
Hold on. I don't know about that.
Anal fissure?
No. You don't notice anything particular about this individual. Something he's like fully covered in red wizard tattoo and sleeping in it.
I have a passive perception of 18.
You notice this guy's a bald red wizard, like covered head and tattoos.
He wouldn't have to be Rathladar himself, would he?
I don't know.
Would I
It's
know that?
You've
Rathladar.
never met. Wait, what mission did you go on? Lundy went to the Red Wizards. You don't know. You've never seen this particular guy before, but he looks menacing. He's in like a very elaborate red wizard cloak. He has a huge, like really arcane-looking gnarled staff. He's sort of waving his hand at
I
you.
know him.
Holly's up there. You can make a perception check on at the end.
On my turn.
Yeah, on your next turn, so you notice.
It's two.
But that guy looks at you and he looks
That's
pissed.
fine. He's not my main priority regardless.
He's not my dad.
After that, it is now Asher's turn. The
Actor.
insect plague biting at the forces in the back. Some of the soldiers look around and they're like what should we do about our like there's a bunch of wearers of purple in the center that are getting like attacked by hundreds
I've
of
got an
bees.
idea. How about
There's
you?
like,
Just fucking die.
Where's the insect plague?
It's right here.
That's the draw
there,
word.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Pass
then
the
I
draw.
want to run forward.
I just had the most
40 feet.
horrifying idea ever.
You want
If
to
you had
forward
a great old one, warlock, that took insect plague, and his version of that is he just unhinges his jaw and he
Is
just
there anyone I
pour
can
forward.
reach?
Imhotep.
It would be
Imhotep.
awful.
There is not quite anyone you can reach from there.
Then I'm just going to ready my action to beat the shit out of people if they come close.
Okay, so you kind of like create a defensive position and kind of. I mean, there's nothing you can do. We need air. Okay. So you kind of like create a defensive position and like wait for enemies to rush by as the rest of the army sort of like comes around you and sort of like pushes the enemies into a bottleneck, trying to push them back towards you as well, kind of creating a funnel naturally around the stronger forces. After Asher's ready movement, it is now going to be, I believe all that's left is Satanta.
Who is going to follow suit and go really fast?
Are you going to dash?
Did Asher dash?
No, he didn't. He's readying an attack, but he's almost at range. You wouldn't be able to attack at all at his range. Oh, well, that's not true. You have a rift beam. But...
Well, it's 30 feet.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't be able to.
How is Asher so far ahead?
Because he was a little bit ahead of you. As your group moved forward.
Okay. Well, fuck that. I want to be next to him.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm going to bring glue next time. I'm going to glue him in there.
Yeah, so
We
now
don't have glue here.
Satanta puts
Well, I have,
himself...
like, crafting glue.
So Satanta puts himself on the battlefield right next to Asher and adopts a similar fighting stance. And like the two of them look at each other and the giants come by and they're just like, as they kind of like funnel around you and attempt to bottleneck the enemies towards you, kind of making a cup. Giants are sort of like coming up like that. After that, it goes to Sirius turn.
Okay.
And then it will go to
Barbarian knife.
Kellen's, and I'm just going to have Kellen.
Bird.
I know Kellen's going to run.
First of the word.
Juno is.
Gonna play a diddle ditty.
Hey Ken, you ever decide where that magic circle was? That was set up on the battlefield that Cyrano prepared a while ago?
The magic circle that he set up on the battlefield?
Yeah.
Like as in, like for the gambit?
For the it was for animated.
Oh yeah,
that one.
That.
Is it
you,
on?
You specifically wanted them to get it onto the battlefield, like close.
Where
by.
it would be useful, yes.
Okay. They wouldn't have been able to get it too far beyond here. The scouts wouldn't have been able to get too close to the area, so I would say probably would have been like somewhere back near where you started.
Okay.
But he would have been, yeah. That like there is a magical emanation of energy that you can call upon when needed.
Okay.
So it's kind of near where you are now. No, sorry. No. There's nothing we can do. We gotta just deal with the air.
Yeah.
My little paper friends come on.
Okay. We'll hold on to that. I thought I could. Yeah.
time also quickly to recap, just let me know which of your armies have come up the center, which ones are going to be engaging with this vanguard.
Just giants.
Guys.
The Harpers up over there.
Yeah.
The mages and the red wizards were back with me.
Back here,
But
yep.
we're going to be preparing to advance now that we've kind of cleared this battlefield.
Okay.
Because they were not going to do any good back there.
Fair
Well, I
enough.
mean, not entirely untrue, but we did cause the dragons to retreat, so.
Fair enough.
I mean, Cyrano's gonna move forward as far as he can, and then just for now, he's just going to enter the astral plane.
Okay, so Cyrano pops up. He's like right underneath Holly and
No,
right next
you
to
see me?
Frontier, and
Now you
just see that, and he just poofs into a puff of smoke, and Cyrano has
He's out.
plane shifted into the astral plane.
All right.
Tingle, tingle, kaloob, and
And that is Cyrano's turn.
Okay. After that, Kellen just moves up. He doesn't have anything that is within range. Just everything else that's near the cliff. He's not going to be able to hit with any of the spells. He doesn't feel like spending a big spell slot, so he's just going to dash his way up and make it
whee,
to
let's
there
go,
with
everybody.
everything that he's got for him. After that, giant army, dwarf army,
Purple Dragon Knights.
yeah, giants, dwarves, purple dragon knights, and the Order of the Gauntlet. They're in there. So this army just sort of like seeing that everything's in, they just roar and rush into battle. All of these guys are going to pincer in on you and begin clashing with those forces. So all of them are going to make attack rolls. If your commanders are nearby, meaning in this section, you'll be able to add your charisma to this roll. If they are not, you don't. So Rafi is nearby for the giants.
Out of curiosity, for flavor.
Yes.
And by flavor, I mean actually things. The, just being within like 10 feet of Get is just still good, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's giving them a huge advantage.
Okay.
But not all of their soldiers are. So only some of them are benefiting. It's
Well,
it has a
anyone
minor-
within 10 feet of me is getting advantage in all saving throws against magical effects.
Right. There's not a ton of mages in this area, so it doesn't seem like it's doing too much, and that kind of gives you a little bit more free room to like move yourselves around the map.
Right.
Anyone
But
attacking
also,
near Kuromaru gets advantage.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Kuromaru, I would have imagined, would have moved up on his turn as well.
tackle, tackle. Tackle, tackle.
right, and then also the +3 to all saves because of charisma.
Right, that is right. Okay, so your group is moving in, the other forces are moving in to sort of funnel at you as well. All the people in this group are getting attack rolls against them, and the 4 armies that are there are making their rolls. Ooh, okay. Now, the Dragon Knights. 2 years. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. So when they get into this tighter force and the enemy forces sort of like barrel in on you, you see them kind of adopt their position. Some of these ones firing back are arcing arrows and like minor like alchemical weapons into the battlefield, lobbing at the group, and your soldiers kind of gather up and like bury into this section. It takes a little bit of time for you all to kind of cleave through as everyone's moving. Your armies kind of clash and slam apart. You manage to do a decent amount of damage to these forces, chipping away a number of them, which damages the frontal vanguard. A decent bit. However, they sort of get the drop on your soldiers, and they manage to like hit you right at the pinpoint, so your fighters kind of like box up and have a really hard time moving, and they kind of get stuck on themselves. The dwarves, luckily this time being smaller, actually are able to maneuver around the battlefield a little bit better, and you see the Bungalow Thump, the big, strong, like blood-raging barbarian who speaks very eloquently in Dwarven, charges up and just sort of starts hammer-dropping a bunch of the powerful cultists. The dwarves of Mithril Hall managed to take out a larger number than the rest of them. However, the Purple Dragon Knights, the Giants, and the Order of the Gauntlet all suffer another level of damage. If they were unspoiled, they are now damaged. If they are damaged, they are now crippled. Your armies have started to weaken and kind of box in, but your soldiers, your whole group manages to press the assault. Some of the enemies rush by Asher and Satanta, allowing you opportunity attacks. Each Asher and Satanta each get attacks.
Yeah, sure.
And you manage to damage the enemy vanguard.
Does a 18 hit?
18 will hit. Yep.
Okay.
You get one attack because it's the
21.
21 will also hit. Roll damage.
Oh, we're rolling damage.
Yep. Yeah, these cultists are a little bit hardier. Not by much, but not enough that one roll isn't gonna be a guarantee. And then after that, we are going to begin the top of the round again with Lundy. Hold on.
13 damage?
He's gonna
13? Okay.
Oh, sorry, he's raging.
Oh, yeah. But you got to use something heavier.
So wait, who got attacked?
20.
Who got attacked? Asher and Satanta are attacked.
Oh, okay.
16.
16 damage, okay. An enemy rushes forward to attempt to stab one of the giant soldiers. One of the hill giants is dropped to his knee, and he's bashing a bunch of guys back with clubs, but another one tries to run up and stab him. And as he does, Asher lunges out at the guy in midair and plants his glaive straight through the guy's chest and throws him to the side, protecting the giant. 20 damage.
20 damage.
Yeah. Another guy runs up, and actually, while Kuramaru is turned and ripping a soldier apart, you see one guy, he has like a knife, and it's a long knife, and it's serrated and dripping with poison, and you see him spot a part right, like of the armor, right where Kuramaru's exposed neck is, and he lunges forward and goes to raise the blade right into Kuramaru's throat, and Satanta roars and like leaps forward with his spear and plunges the spear straight into the guy's chest, stopping him before he can reach Kuramaru, and lifting him bodily into the air, shaking him around a bit before throwing him hard across the cobblestone. He just like scatters across the ashy ground.
Pathetic.
Kuramaru turns around and just kind of like, "Bark!" like gives like a light little howl and like nods at you.
Yes, because I am also a dog.
I too am a hound.
I am too a hound.
Bork. Satanta successfully rescues Kuramaru from a grisly fate.
Grisly fate.
After that, it is Lundy's turn.
Hi.
Combat begins.
Hi.
Your army has managed to shelter the generals and the foot soldiers of the Worm Tamers from most of the assault.
I'm gonna run up to join my fronds. That's as close as I can get to my fronds.
Dashu attack.
Penis fire.
Fire?
Oh, that was me, not him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know what? Penis fire.
PP flame. How many key points are you spending?
2.
4d6 points of fire damage, please.
46. Nice.
Man, those kobolds are fucked.
It's pretty bad. Okay, cool.
They're gonna die.
7, 9, 14.
Lundquist heavily assists the Zuntarim, thrusting forward with a gout of testicular flame. Several of the kobolds melt and scream in agony. Some of them fire out at you. You get close, but it's effortless for you to back the kobolds.
These kobolds here,
away like
literally
nothing.
Vietnam Wars.
These kobolds are panicking, and they actually are going to start running. And they're going to start to, like, they spend their entire action running to the cliff. They set grappling hooks and start belaying down the side of the cliff.
And then Len and Callista and Unity just like looking up and they're just like, they're totally escaping.
Lundquist manages to clear that section.
Oh wait, I have step of the wind. I can get closer if I want.
You can if you want to, yeah.
I can't attack.
That costs
him.
That's true. It does cost a key point.
Step of the wind.
That costs
Yeah, that's one key point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
I'm
on
hungry.
that.
Okay, you managed to kill off a good number of them. On your turn, the Gentarin will press the assault. The enemies are crippled and the Gentarin are unspoiled, so they will have advantage on this attack roll. It doesn't do a lot. The Gentarin managed to clear out a couple of them, but the kobolds have managed to, like, none of them are confused anymore, so they're kind of focusing fire on the Gentarim. You see Dagar like ding ding, like black a bunch of them Ow! Fuck! Man, really? Oh, my
Shut
good
up.
arm! Oh, that's my painting arm.
Shut up and do
And
something.
he pulls the bolt out onto the ground, kind of like grimaces in pain. We managed to do a decent amount of damage to the kobolds, but the Jintarim don't make a lot of ground this round. You actually did more work by yourself than the entire Jintarim force is now moving up. They're kind of like, the kobolds are, they're not focusing on you anymore, they're focusing on the Jintarim, kind of batting them back with whatever like supplies of bolts and like throwing weapons they happen to have at their disposal. They're focusing everything they can. Okay, so after that happens,
Holly's turn?
it is now Hollis' turn.
I'm gonna fly 50 feet towards the group. And I'm gonna shoot the horn.
The horn.
Mm-hmm.
Make an attack roll.
Uh-huh.
32 to hit?
Yeah.
That hits. Absolutely. Go ahead and roll your damage. Your weapon is +2 magical, so there will be no...
Holly hitting a shot? No
That
way.
is 17 damage.
My
17 points of damage.
Yeah.
So, you take aim, and you hear as the arrow smashes against one of the golden rings, you feel like a hard crack, and one of the runes kind of sputters, and you just hear the it starts to kind of like throw off a bit. It appears pretty decently damaged.
I'm gonna shoot it
Bargain
again.
McFargle.
Shoot it again? Sure. Make another attack roll. You see the creature behind it just kind of like blowing into it as hard as it can. Looks more nervous.
Can I
What a
hunter's
blowhard.
mark it?
Can Hunter's
I
Mark
am
it?
going to hunter's mark it.
The Hunter's Mark emanates overhead of the Drakhorn.
That is a wait. 32,
32 hits.
and it's a D8 for
A D6.
D6.
Or something.
Ah,
What?
Got it.
15 more damage.
15 more damage. That's a total of 32 points of damage.
Yeah.
You fire again in the same spot, that 32 being the exact same location on it. This time you hear a as the ring literally just falls onto the ground, and now it's going and rattling really hard. You can see the elemental creature that's blowing its teeth kind of like chatter as the thing kind of like vibrates under its own weight. One of the two
The metal's
support-
like hitting him in the mouth.
One of the two support rings on the outside is damaged. The spark blows back and kind of heats up and softens the metal on the back part, and there's just black energy crackling on the outside of it. This guy turns, like keeping his like profile to the side of both Leosin and Lord Bulmer, but looks at the weapon, and like you can see his body just tense up as the Drakhorn kind of crackles and seizes with black energy.
Alrighty. Am I close enough to? Oh, never mind. I already used my bonus action. Kromer's just gonna take the help action.
Okay, Kurmar is giving everyone around him advantage. After that, it goes to, I believe Unity is next.
Unity's gonna start running forwards. Using
Dashing?
cunning action to dash and her action to dash, so she goes triple speed.
So what's your regular movement speed?
It's
A bunch.
many. It's not.
Several.
It's not 40 anymore. I know that much.
Is it lower or higher?
It is 30.
30? Unity bolts upwards through the group, like just dropping to breakneck speed, and manages to plant herself right here. Cunning action, bonus
She
action.
grabs Lemon. She's dangling.
Oh god!
No, that'd be funny with Cerna, but he doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, Cyrano was currently.
Suno literally is no longer on this plane.
So I was like, bye, I'll come back later.
Don't worry, I'll help you guys in
Unity
the
zooms up
movement.
past Kellen, and Kellen just goes, how did you? I was okay.
Bye.
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 And yeah, Unity arrives perfectly fine. After that, it's going to go to Lem's turn.
I mean, Lem's just gonna go for it as much as he can.
Gonna get to about there.
And then, I mean, let's clear out the Drakhorn, kiddos.
So you're gonna try to, oh, you're gonna send the devils to do that?
Yeah, I mean-
it's at this point, it's literally just Lord Volmer and 2 bone devils. So,
Whitley's, Leo's in the Harper's helping.
Leo's, oh yes, that's true.
Wait, do we even roll for those this turn?
Well,
Or did they arrive this turn?
the Harpers are helping now this turn. So on
haven't
Callista's
gotten
move, they'll go.
They sure.
So what is the current
Callista
state
went,
of that
but
army?
Unity went. Callista hasn't gone this round, we're back at the
We
top.
started a new round. I'm Holly again.
Yeah, Callista goes
Okay,
next.
got it.
And then after that, it's going to be Melisana, and Melisana.
So then, what's the state of the Devil Army then?
The Devil Army is literally just 2 bone devils, or sorry, 2 barbed devils and Lord Volmer. They are critically injured.
Okay. Well, let's fucking it's this close.
Going
They
for
have
it.
one job left.
They have 1 roll. They have advantage and disadvantage in this case. Disadvantage for being smaller, but advantage for fighting a smaller force. And the assistance of the Harpers, plus your charisma.
5.
Total of 16. At this point, you see Lord Volmer starts dueling with the other swordsmen. The swordsman's looking around, and Lord Volmer just kind of smirks, and he kind of thinks about it for a second, and he kind of throws up his tail to wrap around the swordsman's arm and holds him in place. And then as he's holding him there, you just see Lord Volmer just kind of bite the tip of his finger, and lick off a little bit of blood, and just he sends a small little bead of orange energy outwards, floating towards the Drakhorn. And as soon as it lands in the center of the Drakhorn, he finishes casting Delayed Blast Fireball. Watch! Exploding in this whole area, it does catch Leosin in the range.
Motherfucker.
So Leosin is going to make...
That motherfucker!
Leosin has evasion, so he will make a dexterity saving throw. He takes half if he fails, he takes none if he succeeds.
Oh, crud.
That's going to be a failure. So he will take half
Lemmy
damage
had
with the Delayed
evasion.
Blast Fireball.
I could have avoided that initial damage when I was up top. On top of it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's okay. Plus 5 is 9, so 36, 40 points of fire damage. Leosin takes 20. The creature blowing on the horn screeches in pain. It coughs, and you hear for a brief second the horn just, whoa, silence. And then, and it is blowing, but much softer, much weaker as this creature gives its whatever little bits of air it has left in its lungs. It's on its last legs after that. This creature is blown to the side and is now in full melee with Leosin, but Leosin kind of is singed by fire. You see a nasty burn along the right side of his body. But otherwise, only 20 points of damage, but he's still doing okay. The Drakhorn shudders, and one of the rings is starting to melt and slag. It looks extremely heavily damaged after that.
I don't know where everyone else was. Just fine.
But Lord Volmer and the rest of his devils at this point are heavily damaged. This creature just sort of lends out some sort of shadowy attack, ignoring the other fighters, and the howler screeches outward with the Drakhorn, and the other 2 devils are damaged so badly they just poof, plain shift themselves away. And it is now just Lord Volmer remaining of the Devil Army. He looks heavily injured by sword slashes, but